What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional, alongside my co-host,
Mikey Fever.
And this is a New Yorker's Perspective. Friday night is the Lion's Den. And we have the brother Neal Bey back with us again.
Peace and love to the Moors, to the crew. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Carbondale, Illinois.
The land of the pharaohs, Little Egypt. You gotta know it.
Now, Neal Bey's video is the biggest video on our page to this day.
Salute.
Praise Allah. But you know why though? Because I don't want to get big-headed. Our people really want to know what's going on and how to get in to really see how to help the situation. Because I was just speaking with some brothers earlier today, and they told me, man, if we don't get our children, we in trouble. And the internet is the best way to grab them.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So let's go right into it more. Because with the children, we only have a few seconds to grab
That's right. That's right.
So
then
now,
they gone.
Yeah, exactly. So now I want to talk about Carbondale, Illinois. I want to talk about Chicago. Well, Chicago's a part of Illinois. I want to talk about the folks, the gang issue out there. I don't understand Illinois as far as like politically. It's always been, since Al Capone days, from what I know, it's always been a politically corrupt state.
Mm-hmm.
So does that have anything to do with the crime out there?
Very, has everything to do with the crime, because I can go back to my grandfather and the stories that he had about politics throughout Illinois. Down here, I'm still sharing stories with my wife about how they got small towns like Anna, Illinois, Anna Jonesboro, but they has broken it down to me, ain't no niggas allowed. Just recently, we've been allowed there, but they used to catch you there after dark, and you might end up dead. Or not only in Anna Jonesboro, but other areas throughout southern Illinois, like you get to Benton, Illinois, and inside of Benton, they still got a statue that they got there of them hanging some of our people many years ago. You see? So in southern Illinois, you're running into that. When you get in this Chicago area, you're running into more of the Irish Americans and the Polish, and they have had Chicago on lock since like before Harold Washington. They actually are the ones who took Harold Washington out and got him out of Chicago.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me the Irish and the Polish live side by side?
They run Chicago.
The Irish and the Polish run Chicago. That sounds kind of crazy right now to me, man.
That's a real depiction.
That's it. Nah, like, yo, I know.
It's been that way forever.
Real.
50 spoke about that on that power show. He kind of depicts that characteristic of that taking place out there.
And check it out. Our people now are fighting for dispensaries. Again, they have not gave one group of the so-called African Americans one dispensary yet. But the Polish Americans, the Irish Americans, all those other European nations, they on board. They got all the different dispensaries opening with no problem.
Well, when I think of other nations of people outside of our own nation, I'm speaking in reference, just for the public, just because they may not know how we talk. I'm just speaking in reference to like the African American community, quote unquote, or the so-called Black community. When I think of people outside of that nation, they really have no obligation to us at whatsoever. In fact, we're all kind of like trying to reach the top of the food chain, if you will. And I think it's just basic human nature to be like that. So if I was, European, and there are what you want to call disenfranchised people, and I want to keep them out of certain things and capitalize off of their demise, if you will, or ignorance, of course I'm going to do that because I'm trying to reach the top of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
And in this world, predators eat prey. So
that's right.
So we don't, I don't look for, Polish Americans, Irish Americans, Italian Americans, or any of those nations to play fair.
Right.
I don't look for them to play fair. So when they do certain things, or they are away with us, it doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
What matters most to me is what we do with each other. So being that the Polish Americans and Irish Americans
mm-hmm.
has Chicago on lock, I mean, why psychologically, why are we just aiming at each other? I guess you know what I'm saying? Like
they still got us. I mean, however you look at it, whether it's the so-called youth organizations, because we don't, Brother Minister Farrakhan teaches not to call them gangs. The youth organizations, whether they got them going against each other, or even Democrats versus the Republicans, / into Christianity versus Islam or Christianity, they got us at war. And when you sit down, it's one of them controlling all of these different groups and entities. They sitting behind, got just controlling everybody how they controlling them. Check it out. In Chicago, me and my wife was up there, it was about 3 years ago. They had it so programmed, brothers, where the lights would go out at a certain time in certain parts of the west side of Chicago. So you see them running into these stores, committing crimes, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Oh, it's dark out. Get off the block. Stuff like that. You hearing them. And this, to me, is reminding me of prison on the streets. So I'm looking at all this is programmed. They setting it up so where these people lose their mind because it's dark. When it get dark, our people, the liquor store, they hitting the liquor store. They trying to rob the liquor store, rob people coming out the liquor store. You see what I'm saying? All this is designed by them. How are the lights going off in the middle of the city? That's an issue. But it's an issue that they don't care about because guess what? It's in our community and it's us killing us. So they don't care.
Yeah. That comes with misrepresentation as well. It plays into politics, your local politics and your tax dollars. Knowing who's your local congressman.
They send an alderman over. The alderman you think is in your favor. Your alderman's just a yes man for them.
Exactly. You got to hold them responsible because they work for the people. This is what I'm saying. We have to rally. We can't just come together when it's a tragedy. That's the problem.
And check it out. These are the things that if we would have had people like Larry Hoover out here, right? Mm-hmm. Mr. Larry Hoover, we're going to put a Mr. to that. We're going to put some respect on his name, you see? Or Imam Malik and some of the other great ones. They were trying to take the brothers from the criminal activity and bring them into, look, man, this is our city. This is our Mecca. And these people controlling everything. We're controlling nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. I don't care if you go through 40 keys a day. You're still not controlling anything. Think about it. Check this out. You can Google this too. China making money off the parking tickets in Chicago right now. China.
What? Wait. Hold on.
You can Google it, bro. Google it and just ask AI, and it's going to tell you that China is some company out of China makes money off of every time someone catch a parking ticket in Chicago, they make money. So all these other nationalities are making money, and we're not getting anything but time, prison time, and death.
That app you're talking about, I believe it's an app because we have that in New York where they fight your parking tickets for you.
Mm-hmm.
Third party, we have that in the city as well. It's an app you download and they fight your parking ticket. It's third party, but a lot of companies do that. That's offshore.
See,
when it's in the job offshore.
It could be onshore. It could be right here. It could be something we do. How they way over there collecting money off of what we do and how we live in Chicago and New York.
That's part of capitalism. That's capitalism. The inner workings of capitalism.
We just not hip to it. That's just
it's capitalism.
We sleep.
Yeah.
That's why the Noble Lee said, "Wake up, you sleepy-headed Moors." Think about if we was making some of that money that they making off the parking tickets in New York and Chicago. We'd be better off as a people. We can do some things.
But if you pay attention, it's been happening. You see, when you go tech support, like for certain corporations and other medical offices, somebody from India that answers the phone. A lot of the jobs were taken out of the U.S. That's something we got to look within the American system. You know, sometimes I know it
change because just like you said, it's capitalism.
It's capitalism. It just affects our community a little harder because we're misinformed. So we always gonna feel like
it's suppressing us more and more. It's really hurting us more and more. Every time they get a elbow up out of the thing, it hurt us even more. Let's look at the immigration thing right now. My sister called me and my wife today, and she talked to some senator. They really pushing this stuff, y'all. They pushing everything besides to help us out. They got her so hypnotized. They hypnotized her with $4 million. Oh, you can get $4 million by helping us with the immigrants. What about helping us who've been right here, living here all this time? All those elders up there who have worked all those years in Chicago, New York, because they're doing the same thing both places.
Exactly.
It's to help them. It's not to help us. It's to cut us out and to build them up. They come in and get the benefits that our people deserve. The funding that should be going to the people in Chicago and New York, now y'all going to give it to somebody else who don't speak our language, who might be suicidal, who might rape our babies. And we throw them in our community.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yes, sir.
He's speaking on that migration matter, right? But it comes against to show how they misinform us, right? They were doing something in the city where they were paying New York City residents to house these migrants here. About, I think, $150 or $200 something plus a day.
But that's what they're telling my sister now, and it's got her so hyped. She want to get an apartment building so what she can get this $4 million. They got her, they dangled the $4 million. Oh, you can get $4 million. So now she's trying everything to get this $4 million.
And I know you might catch flack for this. You might catch flack for this. You see how she's going for the $400 million, right? And they offer the $4 million and they offering people money to take care of the migrants. That also creates opportunity because now she get this building. Now she's a landlord. She's an investment because through every dark thing there's opportunity in something. You understand? We gotta look at it like that.
Yeah, but then we still got to remember if we're helping them, we're still taking from us. We're still throwing ourselves in the dirt to a degree.
So yeah, but it's a given. Unfortunately, it's a give and take thing because I'm all for the people. I'm all for my people. I love my people, African descendants. I'm all for us, but we gotta understand when in Rome, you gotta do what the Romans do. Not saying sell your soul.
And that's how my sister is feeling right now. Hey, look, they here anyway. They in Chicago. They in Carbondale. Yeah. They're in New York. So hey, why not get paid off of them?
Because here's some game, right? As of lately, who's gonna fund their own demise? You think the system will fund their own demise?
Right.
So you gotta look at it through their eyes. All right. You're gonna give this to me. Yes, it can go to my people, other Americans, because you got to also take in consideration there's some Europeans that are going through starvation and misery as well, right? But if you give me this, as a sister does it, she takes that and get like a $4 million, check for a building. Within that, she could invest in other properties. She's buying back, not America's for sale. She's buying back the country, creating jobs, creating generational wealth.
And I hear that, but let's think about this. We moving people into our community who are criminals over there with mental problems from over there. Not all of them. They only take one bad apple.
Exactly.
Then what do we do?
I understand. Now I'm with you. I understand.
They speak no English, so only thing they comprehend is they want what they want and they gonna get what they want.
Regulate the communities, man. You see the Europeans do it in their community. Let's keep it real.
It's facts.
I hate this. I hate the situation. I know it don't have much to do with it, but when you go through certain Europeans' neighborhood, when they see people like us that walk, what the first thing they do? Ask questions. If they say we could build a house, a halfway house in the community, the people will complain. Don't bring that here. Right? But what do? Majority of our people, nothing. We just kick back.
You know what? You hit it, Mikey, on the head, because here in Carbondale, the mosque that I'm associated with, they had a building, and there used to be a mental center, and we wanted to turn it into a halfway house, the younger version of, the younger generation. And the people in the community said, not a halfway house. They didn't want a halfway house, but we said we need a halfway house for our people who are not Christians, who might be non-denomination, and for our own people. So where we can get them jobs, we can get them into trades, we can get them into college, whether it be out at SIU or, Johnny Logan. That was the ideal. Everybody in the community, in the surrounding area, said no. So now when your brothers and your uncles and your husbands come home, I can't help them like I wanted to help them because you said no. Our people. That's the mindset of our people. So you just visited them, know.
Now we got a lot of work to do, because it's not only here in America, it's across the board. Our people are caught up in something. I don't know what to call it. It's something.
Mental slavery, mental sickness. That's what Double Draw Lee called it. It's mental slavery, mental sickness. Yeah. We find a way to divide ourselves from each other in every form and fashion. And in no way we want to stand together and work together. I'm not from Africa. I'm not from America. I'm not a Moor. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm gonna take care of me and my family. You take care of you and your family. No, that ain't how we were raised. None of us. All of us had grandmas and big mamas who fed somebody. If not everybody.
I'm telling you, man. We got lost.
True. That is very true, man.
We got lost.
It doesn't matter what state you live in.
That's what big mamas and them did. Grandma, big mama, they all did the same thing. She gonna make sure all of y'all eat, and if you're dirty, she gonna tell you she got something. She might even clean you up. Because my grandma used to clean some of the guys up. We don't have that no more.
No, we don't.
So that's why they run into the mobs. That's why they run into the gangs. I just had a brother share with me earlier today that he was doing a survey over in the row houses. He said it was 4 sisters in each row house with about 5 children. No fathers. All of them throwing up gang signs are on that vibration already. Because it's the only thing they see from YouTube, from in the community. It's the only thing they know. So, but the house is divided because some of them are calling themselves this and this one is calling themselves that.
And they brothers. I'm sorry to laugh at that. That's some kind of, I don't know if we can use that word on YouTube. That's some kind of retardation. I'm sorry.
That's what we're going through. Heathen type stuff. Degenerate.
Yeah, it is. It's slow.
Yeah, look, so the brother wanted me to talk to him about being brothers, but being in 2 different organizations. And I told him I have seen that growing up, but now today, oh no. Because see, if he over here and he over there, it's not going to be, that's my brother, and they going to kill each other. Because there's no love out here no more.
You know who I think has to do it? We're talking about our community, especially within this conscious community. I might get beat up for this, so this is not NYP's perspective. This is my perspective. I think the Moors.
You ain't going to get beat up.
The Moors, the Nation of Islam, and the gods and earth need to come together. Set aside the differences.
Wait, say it again, brother, because I was talking over you. Go ahead.
The Moors, the Nation of Islam, and the 5% need to come together. To me,
and the Hebrew Israelites too. That's right.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, them as well. We need to come together because we all in the same vibration of what uplifting our people. Put aside all the differences of theology and realize it's affecting all of us.
But you know what, though? I'm going to say this about the nation.
Mm-hmm.
They work with the Moors.
Really?
They really do. Look, I think I did it about 3 or 4 different times. They let you stay as a member of the Moor Science Temple of America.
Yeah.
It's just if you want to become fruit, you know, the fruit, you can't have no beard. You see what I'm saying? So they say, hey, look, the Nation of Islam is exactly how Sharice explained it the other day on the episode.
Yeah.
They really, those under Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, they adhere to that. You got people in the nation that some are 5%, some are Hebrew Israelites, some are in the Moor Science Temple of America, but they also registered Muslim. You see what I'm saying? So I respect that because that's a start. Brother Ben X and them, I don't want to say too much, but people like him, they take in communities. And in that community, everybody I just named, he got in that community, and all of them own homes now. Nation, Moors, Rasta, all our melanated families as one, somewhere out there in Texas. And that's the idea that I get from Noble Drew Ali for real.
Yeah.
So where we can live amongst each other. Hey, look, there go our chiropractor. I'm going to a pale man here. You see what I'm saying? We got Sister Alicia, she a doctor. So we got the people among us, but we can't bring it together. We got Brother Denim Eel, you know, who can do some counseling work and use it according to, if you wanted according to the Moor science, or if you wanted according to the 120s, you know, the supreme mathematics. We got some great brothers and sisters among us, but we're not using each other.
That's true, man.
We're not. So you saying it right. We all need to quit doing what we're doing, quit all this fighting, right? And get busy. Really start making safe haven for our children, because other than that, they're going to stay on the block.
Stone until the world blow up. They're going to stay on that vibration because
that's all they know, and that's all they feel.
Hey, Moore, say that again, because you
yeah. They're going to stay on that vibration of GD Stone and all those other little mobs are youth organizations until they see us in the Moor Science Temple of America, the Nation of Islam, doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
We ain't doing it, Moors. And they ain't going to come over here because they call it phony stuff. They call it phony. Because you got brothers who will throw their feds on right past the brothers and sisters every day and say, man, that brother don't never offer me to come to the temple. So they talk about things like that. When they see me, I'm going to pull up on them. That's the language they use. And I'm always come as a brother. I never come big-eyed little you, nothing like that. I always come like a brother. And they might be 14, 15. I'm going to call them little bro. Let me holler at you for a minute. Man, why y'all carrying that big old gun? Now, if I can see that from way over there and I'm blind, you don't think the officers, and they like you for just being real with them. Hey, man, I want to be a Muslim like you one day. You hear that? But, man, y'all crazy. I see y'all on Facebook dissing each other. So we don't need them to come into the Moor Science Temple of American Nation Islam right now, because with their mindset, they're going to come in, they're going to be ready to shoot up some.
Yeah.
I seen that today. I seen somebody.
They might just turn their back, like, come on, we do this over there.
On the streets.
Yeah. I seen it today. I seen a particular YouTuber's page going at another Moor today. I was like, wow.
Check it out, Moor. This is why the group of Moors I'm with, we don't do that, because that's gang banging. Yeah. When I was in prison, I actually seen a Moor kill a Moor. See what I'm saying? I've seen a Sunni kill a Moor in prison. But all of us supposed to be doing the work of Allah. So y'all gang banging, y'all set tripping. That's what that is. Big eyes, little U's. You gonna send somebody to stab this brother? I thought all Muslim brothers and sister blood is sacred. But again, this is why I try to stay out of that out here, because The same thing that happened in there is making its way out here. When I was in there, you had 1,000 different leaders. Some were GDs, some were Stones, some were Bloods, some were Crips, some was this, some was that. And whoever had the most people was the Grand Sheik.
Wow.
So you got a lot of people who are coming out of prison with a criminal gang mentality.
That's crazy.
And in there, they put magazines around them. And what you say about my leader? Be ready to stick you. See what I'm saying? Now out here, is what I keep telling and sharing with the Moors, they don't have to run up on you and stick you. Now they just shoot your house down. This is what we got coming into the Moor Science Temple America. But guess what? It happened in the 20s and the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I stay away from that, because I can see that funky smell. Man, you're not going to get me to argue with the ink. You're not going to get me to argue with this group of Moors. That's gang mentality. That's gang stuff.
You know, more, a lot of these organizations have the gang mentality because this is kind of like where they come from. You know, if you look at the history in these different groups and how they came up, you know, over the years and what was happening, even if we talk about like some a group like the Zulu Nation, you know what I mean? Like, the Black Spades then transform into the Zulu Nation. I don't know if I'm saying the wrong thing, but that's pretty much how it happened. A lot of Spades, people who were Spades,
You're right.
became Zulu Nation,
Mm-hmm.
and then and some Zulu Nation members became other things. So, like, you know, it's just that's where people are coming from. They're coming from the gang life, and then they bring the gang life into the temple, or into these organizations.
Mm-hmm.
With their mentality. That's why they're like separatists
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to in dealing with a lot of division, because I'm the Moor over here and we do it this way over here, and you're the Moor over there and you do it that way, because it's like a psychological block or a trauma that they bring into the organization, bring into this community. And I think it should be I mean, I don't want to say eliminated. That's the wrong word. It should be.
You're right. 1453. Take the head off of it.
Yeah.
Because it's holding us back as a group of people.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
like,
even I want to mention this just in case, you know, we have other listeners, you know, maybe even 5%ers check us out. So like, I was talking with an older guard yesterday, and you know, he was saying, you know, and he's from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the 5% teachings, he's like you're 5% and that's it. You can't be nothing else. If you came around at that time back in the days talking about you were more, they'll beat you up. You know what I mean? They'll take you out. They'll take you out of here. He was like, they'll take you out, like they're taking you out of the area. You know what I'm saying? So they'll get physical with you. You know what I mean? And
universal.
Say what?
They give you a universal.
They give you a universal. They give you a universal beatdown. They give you universal beatdown. So, and like before the 5% Nation, there was a lot of gangs in New York, Jolly Stompers, and you know, just to name one. I forgot the others off the top of the head.
Wasn't it Transformers or something they used to have up there?
That's the Decepticons. The
Decepticons, yeah.
Existed
no
around.
Disrespect to nobody, Mom.
No.
I remember them. Yeah, I remember people talking about them all the time.
Yeah, so in 64, that's the 5% Nation. The Decepticons, I don't really know their history like that, but I'm sure it came after that. It could have been late 70s, it could be mid 70s. We don't know. But well, actually, we got to look at the Decepticon show to figure out the time period. I'm sure that's where they got the name. But anyway, yeah, so you know, New York had the gangs, and then when other groups came about, like the 5% Nation brothers went from those gangs into the 5% Nation. And remember, Allah, the father, he wasn't trying to teach no preppy kids or anything like that. He was trying to grab, brothers.
Oh, righteous teachers, the streets.
Straight from the streets. So over time, that's what the I would say a good majority of the 5% nation was at a time, like at a time period. So, and the older guards still kind of hold on to that mentality in a sense. And I think that some of them, not all, they teach other brothers and to kind of be the same way. However, I was talking to the guard and I was telling him how I came into the 5% nation in the 90s. Now the 90s is completely different because it started from the 90s. You got the 2000s, the internet, like this is a completely different era. So we have more access to information now. When they were coming up, they didn't have the access to information like we had access to information. So in these days and times, you're gonna find guards that study more science. You're gonna find guards that study Pan-Africanism. You're gonna find guards that study the comedic science and so forth and so on. So at this point in time in 2024, division, separation between the groups it's null and void. It doesn't make any sense to exist anymore, being that everything is coming together whether you like it or not.
Facts.
Didn't Sharif just the Grand Sheik just say that on the last show? We're gonna all be forced to work together as one.
Yeah,
that's prophecy.
I got a perfect analogy for that. It's like we all have pieces to like a million piece puzzle, right?
Yeah,
we all divided, and yet we're busy talking about, well, my pieces look better, your pieces look better, this and that. We debate, not knowing that we all have the pieces to that one goal. But we're just so stuck on, like as Ron said, doctrine, ideology, and beliefs to a point that you sound like a zealot, like you're doing idolatry at this point. You understand?
I let nothing get me caught up, Moors. Nothing get me caught up somewhere I'm not thinking. Noble Draw Lee always, that's what the movement is about, becoming a free thinker.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then with me coming from great men like, the Honorable Chairman Larry Hoover, you had to be a thinker. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had when he was in the state institution, he received over 15 different certificates and degrees, diplomas, psychology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, he got degrees behind degrees. So he wanted thinking men and women. Again, because he was taking us away from criminal acts. Go sit down with the Small Business Association and see how we can get into franchise business. I was 21. And I'm hearing numbers like, okay. And you take this back and at 21, he got you going to sit down to make $1 million moves. But the people that's supposed to be his board members, supposed to be his eyes and ears, wasn't on that. They was on selling drugs. They didn't want to hear about opening up no franchises of Wendy's, because at that time it was Wendy's. Wendy's was super cheap to open up a franchise into. And then, throughout Chicago, every other so many blocks, we could have had a Wendy's set up. That was the mindset that he had. One mindset. He had his son running the clothing line. He had a clothing line from prison, his ID number. And everybody was wearing it. The rappers, local people from out of Chicago. But then a lot of us said, hey, look, what he doing, we can do. I can start my own clothing line. He was giving us ideals. Look, man, instead of selling dope, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. The old man had his hands in so many great things where I like to say he got to be a multimillionaire.
Oh, yeah. Come on, for sure.
He's got to be a multimillionaire.
For sure. Behind the wall, yeah.
Behind the walls, though.
Yep.
Isn't he set to be released, though?
It would be a blessing for them to release him and Imam Malik and my baby brother. Those would be blessings. You know how many people cried for those three men?
You said your baby brother?
Yeah, your baby brother.
My baby brother's been gone since 1997. They gave him 2 lives.
Wow.
Wow.
He was Baby Hoover. That's what he called himself.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? He was caught up into that trance. He was caught up. I'm going like the old man going. At 17, 16. Where it cost him his life.
Crazy.
Where he's fighting to come home now. Inshallah, he gets some free time. Imam Malik family, you know. These are old men now. Mm-hmm. My baby brother, he's younger than me, but the Imam is an old man. Mm-hmm. You know, even Jerry Lewis Bey, the last thing I heard from him was that he's going through a blood pressure issue where he might need a blood transfusion or something like that because of diabetes and things like that. I mean, these brothers are sick, man. They need to be home. You see? So everybody out there doing stupid stuff in the name of these men just locked up, y'all hurting them. You're not helping them. Every time you stack it on Larry or you say on the old man, you hurting him. You hurting them. You're not helping them. You're an enemy to the cause of friend one to be with his family, so he can be a grandfather, so he can be a father, so he can be what you don't want to be.
Well, isn't it like Chicago, Illinois in general? Isn't it that the GDs are kind of like I don't want to call it falling off, but I would call it like dwindling down?
The GDs, and I like to say this respectfully, if you're not about economic security, if you're not about building up your community, buying back the block, securing your block, policing your block, feeding the people, like the old man said, then you're not in the vision of the old man. You're not in vision of GD. You're just claiming something. A lot of these young brothers today, they don't know no literature. They don't know no laws. They're going to tell you their uncle, their daddy was a GD, so now they GD. They don't know anything. But they say GD so quick. Even some of them that call themselves BDs, they don't know nothing about it. But yes, GDs in Chicago are dying out because it's unorganized. No structure.
And the BDs pretty much took over.
Through the rap, through music, reaching the people where they at. The rap industry.
Right.
DDs were doing that. And you see how many rappers came out. I think the DDs only had like King Von and that brother Yellow, right?
King Von is BD.
I thought he was GD. Yeah, he was GD, wasn't
he? I thought King Von was BD.
Oh, was it? But they find out he was gay. He became Muslim before he died, but he was gay.
Wow.
That's
I don't know how true that. I don't think that's true. I think that comes from people are saying that because of
he was outnumbered in the cell.
Because yeah. So he was trying to he was just playing around or whatever the case may be in the prison for whatever.
Well, let me say it like this then. If he ain't gay, most of those brothers going there become homosexual. Mainly if they don't join the Moorish Science Temple, American Nation Islam, or Al Islam.
I have a question.
Because you can be a GD on count and gay. You can be a stone and be gay. I hate to say it. I'm saying them break the rules for people in all the joints. If it's one of their friends, one of their buddies, or somebody close to them, they're going to secure that brother. But all along, he gay. Or he the police. Same thing.
I have a question for you, brother Neal.
Yes, sir.
I know back then, in the history of before he was Chief Imam Malik. Forgive me for that one. His organization raised like about $1 million through grants through the city. Like he received $1 million. Mm-hmm. Like they were, and somehow the money was, like you say, some brothers funneled the money through some illegal activities and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he got back another $1 million. Like, how was that possible? Like they was just throwing money at him like crazy. And then after that, years later, Gaddafi reached out to him, Libya. I'm like, that is crazy. Like, he had that much power.
Gaddafi, remember that?
Look, y'all, when I was in Marion, this brother used to have business women come visit him. I don't think all of them was attorneys, but they used to be so sharp dressed in those little suits and stuff. And I mean, he kept visits like that every Saturday and Sunday, and it was not family members because they had a suitcase. He had visits like that. And then one day, one of the guards is telling us that they love this man. They drive from all over the United States to come see him when he was in Marion. That's Imam Malik. Facts.
What was it like that had them like so captivated? Like, it was just like,
number one, he was in tip-top shape.
That's number one.
Because
he gonna run the yard. They let him out. He run in the yard and doing push-ups every so many miles and right back to running. Then he get over there, do crunches. Then he get right back up. And the man, they have no body fat on him whatsoever.
That's that Islam knowledge he had. Like, because people were so captivated by him, how he speak, and he spoke with such authority when he was on the assembly floor. And they was asking him about the the money and stuff like that. The way he spoke to him, like don't question me. Like, worry about what y'all doing. Let me do what I want to do.
That's how he moved. Look, when he used to eat his food, y'all, he never, all the other inmates would eat this way, he'd turn the other way. He never ate his food the same way as the other inmates. They say he got to be different. He's different in everything he does. And the guards never, I mean, he was the only person who would turn this way. He turned his back to the guards. That's what one of the Stones told me. They said, oh, Mo, the science to that is he turning his back to the guards while he eat his food. I was like, okay. But the Mo full of signs and symbols. He told me, and it took me years to figure out what he was saying. I'm going to see if y'all can pick it up. He said, when you get out there, you tell those brothers, because he says a lot of preachers, just, I guess they El Rookins or Blackstones or whatever they call themselves from when he was out here. But he said they were preachers, and they were sending him pictures with crosses on their bodies, tattoos, or, symbols of crosses. He said, tell them I said they bent over. I'm in prison. I'm trying to figure out what the heck he mean telling me they halfway bent over. And then when I came home, only thing I can come up with is because they got that cross on their neck.
Is it safe to say that Islam, not the Eastern version of Islam, the Islam that was brought to the American shores for the so-called black man, that's tailored for the black man, is very powerful, beneficial for our people?
It's the truth.
It sounds like it, because from the Moors.
Look,
and
this Islam that we practice over here is so universal. You can be into any other religion and still be into Islam. Because it don't pass away. Truth don't change nor pass away. This is something our ancient forefathers did, and we just redoing it again. That Islam, which we got to be careful of, because Islam for us and the Islam for Saudi Arabia is different.
Completely.
They under Wahhabism. We're not Wahhabis.
Wait, say it again.
They're under Wahhabism, which is a doctrine. And that doctrine basically is to destroy true Islam and replace it with what they want to teach, what Islam should be. Kill us all with religion, right? Indoctrinate our minds and tell us we got to move like they say move, or we're disbelievers. We don't practice that. That's not Islam. That's called Islam.
I'm going to allude to that. I'm reading this book from Nuri Muhammad, and The Power of the Mind, and another book from one of Elijah books, The Secrets of the Secret Supreme Wisdom. Not the actual wisdom, but there's another book.
No, I know you're saying it's a pamphlet like.
Yeah, and it talks about that, the difference between Eastern Islam and Islam for the black man. And when you go back into the Moorish documents, I see what it did for our people here that were, victims of this Atlantic, the trans, slave situation that stripped away our, confidence, identity. So it raises the people, because you see it in other practices as well. Like not all people in the Eastern Islam smoke cigarettes or drink. You see them doing that, and
But check it out. You just hit on something. All of them over there.
Yeah.
When we gonna make prayer, mainly on a nice day, right before the prayer come in, brother, there's so many cigarette butts out there in front of the mosque.
Yeah, yeah.
We won't do that in Islam. We keep that at home.
Yeah.
They bring it to the mosque.
Or it's forbidden.
It's forbidden. There you go. Elijah Muhammad and Noble Drew Ali both said, be like them. Neither one of them smoke. Elijah Muhammad called it stinky stuff, even the tobacco. So, but over there, that's why they got the body oils, Mo. They're gonna throw the body oil on soon as they get done. I'm smoke the big old Newport or whatever that is. So our Islam and their Islam is different. And check it out. When I want to take the babies over there, the young shooters, as they like to call them, they don't want to hear nobody unless they look like us. They don't want to hear nobody getting up speaking no Arabic. They say, oh man, let me know when Imam Hawk is a brother like us. Let me know when he speaks. Let me know when Niger or somebody like that speak. I don't want to come in there and listen to them. Ain't no salvation in that. Ain't no salvation in that. But to some people, they feel like they doing something. They feel like they holy. So I'm rocking with the youth because the youth coming out telling us the truth.
Exactly.
They telling us the truth. Man, I like y'all, but I see this. Man, I see that. Man, I don't like that about y'all.
And what are the youth saying about the Moors, about everybody?
Straight gangbanging. Mainly the Moor Science Temple of America. Every year there's another group of Moors that pop out and say we the new Moors, and we kind of put all the other Moors in the back. My nephew, he's 24. He said, I can remember this group and that group. I said, oh, brother, it's about 7 different groups now since then. So they ain't coming to that. But they know we got the truth. Because they always say Larry Hoover was supposed to have been in the Moor Science, or Jeff Ford was supposed to be, this is how they say it on the streets, So I want to get the teachers that they was getting. But they see all the religious set tripping in there. Man, I ain't doing that. I'm not coming in there for that.
Right. Hey, Moore, let me right now, I got the brother coming on from Canada. And he's about to come on. He's actually waiting right now. We're about to get him on the stage. So we're gonna continue this again next week. We coming back Friday. Let's continue this conversation more. This was a great conversation.
And next week we bring somebody with us, so now we can start filling in some of those gaps on some of the history with some of the people that was actually took a part of it. We got one sister. She was a sheriff in the 80s all the way to the early 90s. We got a couple different people for you that we'll fill it in.
All right. Peace,
okay.
Man. Peace
to you. Love. Happy holiday.
Happy holiday. Peace.